All right, so today I'm working on an end grain pattern slash mosaic. And a few weeks back, Josh Harper reached out to me and said, hey man, I'd like to send you some belts and get your opinion on them, find out how you use them, how they work for you in your process. Those belts are from 3M. So the belt we're testing today is the Cubitron 3 in 36 grit. It says 36 plus, I'm not sure if that matters, but it's the 3M 1184F with the YF backing or belt weight. So we're going to test those today. We're going to torture test them. Why is it a torture test? Because I didn't clean any of this with acid really. I etched it, but it still has all the nasty forge scale on it. And there's really nothing harder on belts, in my opinion, than forge scale. So it's about the hardest substance in the shop. It tears belts apart. I know how the belts I typically use perform, and today we're going to run these up against those. And we're going to just see how they do. And I will give you my honest feedback. Financial disclosures, these belts did come to me for free. I do not have a sponsorship or any financial ties to 3M or Josh Harper. But I did receive these for free without any promise of anything. So this will be a fully honest review. How they perform is how they perform. I've never used these before, but you're going to get my honest take on it. So here we go. All right, we're back. I've got the same belt on the machine. Still working on that Cubitron 3, the 1184F with the Y backing. It's a 36 grit. They're designed for high pressure, and so they work really, really well with things like surface grinding. What I'm about to do though, since I've already done about 60 to 70 inches of surface grinding with this, taking off 20 to 30 thousandths per inch, I'm going to take and I'm going to grind this shape out of this billet. And normally I would cut this out, but I want to see how much life this has left in it, see if I can burn it all the way out so I can give it a good review or a review. All right, everyone, I'm here to wrap up on this Cubitron 3 video. Big thanks to Josh Harper and to 3M for sending these. I appreciate that. I told Josh when he first reached out to me that I'd be happy to try the product, but you know, no matter what, I'm going to give it an honest review. And to be honest with you, I was very, very skeptical that I would like these belts. I thought I had found the best belt on the market in the Norton Razor Star. I've been using that belt and telling people about that belt just personally for months since it came out late last year, and I have loved that belt. This belt surprised me. Even when I first started using it, I was like, there's no way this is going to keep up with the Razor Star. And the reason that I thought that is because it doesn't cut quite as aggressively as the Razor Star. And so I thought, oh, it dulled too fast. It didn't though. It kept cutting and it kept cutting and it kept cutting. And then I thought it was dead, and I went from a billet to this without, a thin cut or a saw. I just did it all on the grinder. Thought it was dead again, so I had my buddy come over and grind off probably a 1/4 inch off each side of an 18-inch ladder pattern billet, and the thing just would not quit cutting. By my estimation, I probably cut somewhere in the neighborhood of 20%, maybe 30% more steel than I get out of my yellow Razor Star belts. So I kind of had to eat my words on this. In fact, I texted a good friend of mine and was like, I don't know, man, these belts are good, but I don't think they're gonna do it. And then, I had to text him back and be like, yeah, I was wrong. These belts are incredible. They're expensive. They're the place that I buy belts from. They're $19 for this belt. That said, they're a great value for the money, because when you compare them to other belts, they just are better. They last longer. The Razor Star is about $17 where I buy it, 20% longer, 30% longer than the Razor Star. So if my math is right, it costs less than 30% more than a Razor Star. It probably will outlast, my best guess is it would probably outlast somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'm really familiar with Norton products at the moment because I used a lot of them. It probably would run somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 Norton Blaze belts worth of steel cutting. When you look at it in that light, it's a great value. 4 or 5 Blaze belts in 36 grit will run you somewhere between $40 and $52 for the set. So when you look at it in that light, $19 is a fantastic value. The other thing that I liked about it is I just didn't have to change it. I just kept running the same belt, so it saves me time looking for other belts and finding ones that are new or whatever. And so save time in changing belts out, and you just keep running your machine, which is great. Towards the end of its life, like every other belt, yes, your steel is going to get hot. Use a glove, pick it up. The thing I was most concerned about on this belt was the seam, because you can see that gap there. It's not quite like that. Well, this one's used also, but this is a newer belt, and you can see it's got a little seam there. Hold on. You can see on a brand new belt, this one's not used. You can see the seam, but it's not a huge gap. It does open up a little bit as you use it. I mean, that's clearly bigger. But the tape did not break. The tape held up. So, I mean, even now, this belt is completely spent, and I can rip it. But, it takes some effort, and it didn't bust on the machine. This belt got all the way through its life without breaking on the machine. So, and we had several instances where we were applying a lot of pressure to this on the surface grinder. We were taking off quite a bit at a time, and I was running, you saw the video, I was running that billet into it, face first, with quite a bit of pressure. So overall, I got to eat my words on this one. The Cubitron 3 from 3M in the 1184 series, I think it's the 1184F in 36 grit plus. Best belt on the market in terms of stock removal for removing forge scale. I mean, we did not acid treat any of our billets to take any forge scale off. We just ground right through the forge scale. Obviously, we could improve the service life of the belt if we treated our billets a little bit better. But acid takes time, and I would rather burn a couple belts and save the time. That's the way that I do it. Everyone has their way, but in my opinion, having tried the Actirox, having tried the Razor Star, and pretty much every other belt. I think there's the Destroyer or some other belts. Every other belt in this class that I've used, this surpasses. So I will be making the switch to these. If you're still here and you've tuned in this long, thank you for tuning in.